So they just wrapped up day two of RFK Jr.'s confirmation hearings in Washington. And I'm never going to get political, but um, I just can't help but reflect basically on hearing the term chronic disease over and over and again. And as much as it's been a talk lately in Washington, it's something that I've spent a lifetime working with, dealing with, seeing the effects of when I work with my patients and try to treat differently. So if there's someone who's on the front lines of seeing this every day, it's the health professionals that have to try to treat and do their best. So I think the fix to all this basically is well beyond um, a pill, as you know, in my writings and the things I talk about. It is getting to the root cause or going upstream, much that I've tried to do with my Bright Mind project for kids' education around health. Unfortunately, all the policies and the policies that are reinforcing getting up to speed and making kids smart, teaching for the test basically have eliminated all the proactive programs and the ability to actually teach our kids how their bodies work. So if you were to ask my 2 cents, that's part of the problem. But certainly the food economics are part of that, but also, um, you know, the what is in our food. So if there's something that I do agree with RFK, it is that we have different policies for what we approve or allowed to sell as safe ingredients in the U.S. And that list is much more broad than the foods and additives that are allowed to be sold overseas. That's why I've recommended the Yucca app to my clients for some time, which simply tells you all the crap that's in the food and gives you a score. But that's not my point of today. I wanted to kind of build on the reflections around chronic disease. And if you were with me for my first episode where I kind of talked about the naked truth, you would and that was in the preface to my book, Body and Balance. A lot of the stats that were brought up at the confirmation hearings, talking about life expectancy and about the rate of chronic disease progression, and of all the developed nations, are we're doing a horrible job, and I've pointed that out in my book. It was as if they were almost listening. In some way, I was laughing to myself because I've been trying to hammer this message home that we need to do more sooner, and not try to solve the nation's problems with expensive pills. But you heard me talk about that in the naked truth and the stats, and certainly the rates of diabetes, obesity, everything that's been mentioned in the hearings is something that I've talked about for basically my whole career, as I've seen the aftermath firsthand. But I wanted to spend just a few minutes because I'm laying the foundation for actually taking some of the chapters from my book, Body and Balance, and actually putting them out on audio, something I never did in 3 editions of my book. So, in the first episode of this Achieve Balance or Believe in Balance podcast, I talked about the naked truth and the stats. And in this one, I want to talk about the introduction to my book. If you've never read it, I just want to read you the very important first things that I talk to my clients about, starting with. So I do believe that you can build a better body, regardless of your age or your current fitness level. So when I talk about welcoming readers to the new updated version of Body and Balance, I I often reflect back that my goal is to show you how to boost your nutrition and fitness IQ so that you can be able to build a better body and be more fit. In my latest edition, I've actually included new information on genetically engineered foods, sometimes referred to as GMOs. I've included food policy updates in the latest science, and I've also included an expanded update in my smart movement screen, which I've been giving away for those on Substack. If you're listening or following there, it's an incentive to subscribe because I've been giving away little tidbits. I call it my fitness gifts, um, and it's something that you can freely download just for subscribing to either one of my Substacks at No Stroke or Achieve Balance. Um, There you'll find video links, and I've even provided more links on how to perform corrective exercise videos. And that links into my Achieve Balance course at Smart Moves PT. I've also loaded up much more content on that site, including webinars and great nutrition documentaries, to back up some of my research and help you keep learning. That's what they're missing in DC right now, is the educational piece. It's often about developing the skill powers I mentioned on the last podcast that takes time. And with the media and everyone pushing and dancing around celebrating that the latest weight loss pill has miraculously cured them of their chronic disease, that just kind of adds to the chaos. So with all the new resources that I have in my book and my course, I'll take you through the important necessary steps to keep you accountable and engaged. And along with it, I've added some new support technologies I can now offer you as part of my one-on-one Achieve Balance coaching academy and platform. And I do this every day in my practice. And this is the first time I've included outreach to be able to do it sort of asynchronously to help more individuals. I will also help you with quick nutrition tweaks to help you build your own sensible eating plan to complement your new lifestyle. And along with that, there's a way to explain why you are likely to be misinformed when it comes to nutrition. And if those talks in Washington that are going on are any proof of that, you see where it's getting us. So my program is an option, and it will educate you on how to train your body to lose excess body fat through exercise and to maintain better health regardless of your age or current fitness level. It's never too late to start. The only inaction is just not taking action and getting started with where you are, and that's what my book is about. And in the next podcast episode, we'll talk about where you do begin is where you have to measure to know where you are starting. So you can refer to the Smart Movement screen, or you can stay tuned to these podcasts where we'll kind of walk you through that process as well. But this is very important that I'll read this from my book as well, to kind of set the stage for getting you ready to move. So please remember, not all of the advice in my book or linked on my sites and my courses are suitable for everyone. I'm being honest, because individual health and fitness levels vary, and they're very considerably different. You should always consult with your own physician or health professional before you begin my program or any weight management or exercise program. I have provided several useful screening forms and questionnaires for assisting you with communicating this information to your medical expert before you get started. I certainly would advise that you refer to these forms and these tools immediately before proceeding with or taking any action outlined in this guidebook. Even with these assessment tools and screening forms, your physician is still the best resource for helping you decide how to best proceed with the pace of your own health, fitness, and rehabilitation planning. In general, you'll find that most physicians will agree they should have to give you this prescription is they should have to give you a subscription, basically prescription not to exercise. Someone once quoted this saying, and it sticks with me, and I agree 100% with this philosophy. If exercise could be bottled, it would be the most widely prescribed pill in the world. That's a statement I have not heard once mentioned during the talks in Washington. And it's something that I've talked about for a long time as a physical therapist, being the movement expert. That is the missing part of this equation, is we're not educating and reinforcing through incentives the importance of movement and mobility. So bottom line, and until next time, if you completed the forms and talked to your plan about this plan with your doctor, then let's proceed. I'm going to put links in the bottom so you can grab a copy of my book, or you can link up and learn more about my Achieve Balance course if you want to work more closely with me one-on-one. Only do so if you're ready to look and feel better, and if you want to have more energy. So let's talk about getting started.